Hey everybody, Motorport 59 here. Well, I'm back. I've been gone for about 3 weeks on two different vacations. 6 days on one, then I was home for a few days, and then took off on an 8-day vacation. The first one, me and one of my buddies went up to Oregon to Klamath Falls and stayed with his dad and visited that part of the state. And the second, my wife and I and some friends went up on the Harleys, and we went to Tahoe and Reno, and then the rest of the group came back home, and my wife and I went up into northern Nevada. And one of the things that I noticed about both states, and Oregon has been that way for a while, is the blueness. And Klamath Falls itself, much like California, Oregon is controlled by its population centers, and which are Portland essentially. It's the only really big city in Oregon, but the coastal areas of Oregon are all liberal and are progressive now. And the central part of the state, the Klamath Falls area, are pretty much conservative, much like California, the entire coast, with the exception of maybe one or two of the cities along the coast. And California has a huge coast. That's where the population centers are. They're liberal. The central part of the state, the inland part of the state, is almost exclusively conservative. Where I live here in Bakersfield is very conservative. And when I was in Nevada, they had just held their primary elections, and they've had some other elections going on. And Nevada's turning blue. Nevada has historically been a very conservative state, but its population centers, Las Vegas and Reno, are turning liberal. They're turning blue. And there's just, when you look especially at Nevada, there's no one in central Nevada, not really. We spent a couple of days in Elko, which is way up in northern Nevada, and a couple of days in Ely, which is in the same basic area, 150 miles from each other, something like that. And very conservative areas centered around mining. And this is what's happening to a lot of places. I've been saying for a long time now that Texas is the next California. Texas is turning blue. You had a longtime conservative senator in Ted Cruz, who was almost beat by Buttigieg, but I don't even know how to pronounce that idiot's name. But he's a nutcase, but he still almost won. What does that tell you about Texas? And people from Texas aren't paying attention. They're not paying attention to this. They're so caught up in their "don't mess with Texas" attitude. They're not paying attention. It's exactly what happened to California. California was once a relatively conservative state. It hasn't been for a long time, but now that's happening to Texas. It's starting to happen to Idaho and states like that, where all these people are escaping California to get to, and these places are turning blue right behind them. It's sad. It really is, that people are so wound up in their emotions that they don't realize how they're damaging the entire country with those emotions. And what is more sad, in my opinion, is that in a lot of these places, especially Texas, that the conservatives there really don't realize it. They really think they're still in charge, and they're not. They're just not. Anyway, that is the takeaway. One of the takeaways I did from my vacations. I really didn't watch. I didn't watch any news while I was gone. I didn't hardly watch any television. Period. Kenny's dad and his stepmom watched Fox News the whole time I was there, but I didn't go sit in there and watch it. I was busy editing videos about the trip and enjoying myself. I don't go on my vacations to involve myself in my politics or my portfolio. I go have fun. And I did have fun, but it's no fun in retrospect. As I look back on it, it's no fun watching that happen to these great states. Because I like Nevada. I like Nevada and I like Oregon. A lot of cool stuff in those places. But what's not cool is what's happening to their getting sucked into the same cesspool that California was sucked into 40 years ago. What do you think? You a Californian? Are you an Oregonian? Are you you live in Nevada? What part of those states do you live in? Are you getting annoyed with those things? Are you from Texas? Do you think that a bumper sticker that says "Don't mess with Texas" is going to keep liberals out of your state and keep them from running it? You have to do more than have bumper stickers. You have to do more than go on Facebook and say that isn't going to happen here. It is happening. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Shoot me an email, motorpoet59@gmail.com. Like, share, subscribe. Click on the bell if you want to be notified of future content. We'll see you all later. Sorry for the absence, but I was enjoying life.